Kevin with Godlyke Incorporated, and I'm here with my man, Walter Stacey. We're here to do a tone talk. We haven't done one of these in a while, and what better way to ramp up tone talk once again, but by introducing a new pedal, the TWA Triskelion Mark II. And I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this for a long time. We apologize for the delays, but if you're not familiar with the original Triskelion, we put this out in 2010, and it is a mid-range booster filter kind of thing, wah filter kind of thing. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's based on the original Systech Harmonic Energizer from the 70s that was used by a bunch of prominent guitar players such as Frank Zappa and Joe Walsh and a bunch of other cats. The original Systechs are really hard to find. They're really expensive when you do find them. And for a long time, nobody had done a clone of that pedal until we did. So back in 2010, we released the Triskelion Mark I. And the interesting thing was, as soon as we released it at NAMM, I got an email from Zappa, who ordered 3. So we sent him the first 3 prototypes that we had made, and they went right into his rig, his touring rig, for the Zappa Plays Zappa tours. And so we felt that was a pretty good jumping off point for the pedal. And we did the production run, and then we wanted to make some tweaks to it. So that's brings us to the Mark II. Here is an original Mark I Triskelion. Here's the Mark II. As you can see, we went to a smaller chassis, so it's a little more pedal board friendly. In addition, we added a gain engage switch, which we had on the Triskelion Mark I. It's an interesting feature that we added that the original Systech did not have, is that we allow you to turn the gain on and off, where the original Systech it was always on. So basically, you can use it as a straight EQ pedal, or you can use it as an EQ booster to drive your amp. So this way you could turn the gain on and off. In addition, we also added a couple of switches in the back, and one of them has there's 2 settings. They're EQ settings, classic and modern, and the classic setting has a little more low end like the original Systech. The modern setting has a little more mid-range focus, more like a wah-wah type filter. And then we also have a gain reduction switch, and what that does is the original Systech circuit, the gain is so hot that it actually starts to clip the circuit itself. So we just give you the ability to bump the gain down about 10 dB, and what that does is it gives you a clean boost coming out of the pedal, so you could drive your amp clean and not get so much distortion out of it. And then of course we also have the expression pedal output. We still have the cool Triskelion LED array, which a lot of guys were saying, hey, we hope the new one has it. So it does. And Walter, tell me a little bit about what you like about this pedal, besides the fact that it makes you sound exactly like Michael Schenker.
Nothing makes me sound exactly like Michael Schenker, but actually that is a tone that I always loved.
And that's why I'm glad you're here, because it's a tone that I love as well. I'm a huge Schenker fan, always have been, and a lot of, in case guys don't know, Schenker used a cocked wah-wah to get this tonality, but I always felt, not just him, but a lot of guys in the 70s kind of used these small guitar tones, very focused in the mid-band, which a lot of guys don't do anymore, but it's like, I think it's magic.
It's a great thing, because again, it's a certain frequency, and it sits in a mix.
Yep.
You can, he used it extreme on some stuff, where it was great, though. You really stuck out, okay? It cut through the mix. Now, live, that's a nightmare. You're trying to set your wah to where it is.
And leave it there.
Then you're in different rooms, and there's bass gobbling up everything, and it's just really hard to do. Recording, I would set it. No, it's okay. And the other thing is, what's really cool about the expression pedal is that you set the wah, the filter at a certain point, and it's great for one area of the guitar, upper register, lower register. Then you go to play somewhere else, and now it's not working. It's dull. You lose all your. So this, with the expression pedal, I can play. All cool up there, and then down here I can get it. Just by changing the knob via the expression.
What the expression pedal does is when you plug it in, it actually disengages the variant mass control, which is the frequency that you're boosting. And it puts it down
that
on the floor. So like Walter said, you can actually adjust it as you're on the fly to find that sweet spot depending on where you're playing on the neck of your guitar. Technically, you can also use it like a wah-wah, which is the original function that we had in mind for it. Is kind of like, hey, you can use it as a wah as well. Now, the one difference between the Triskelion circuit and an actual wah circuit is the fact that you can not only adjust the frequency, but you can also adjust the peak of the frequency, and that's what the energy knob does. So you can have a really shallow wide peak, or you can have a really, really pointy peak, and that's where you get that emphasis on the notes.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, because that's it's not like I'm using a wah pedal here, because obviously with the wah pedal, you know, where you set it, that's it. You're not getting the curve. So yeah, definitely this is way better.
So one thing we haven't shown you yet is the pedal with the gain engaged, because right now we've just been using it as an EQ. But I think the cool thing is that when you have this option where you can EQ the pedal for your rhythm sound, and then hit the gain, to boost for leads, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah. But so we're going to turn it on, and we've got the gain at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, why don't you switch it while I'm playing?
Okay, cool. That's what I love about this pedal, is just the fact that it just creates this relationship between your guitar and your amp that just like drives it right into harmonic feedback, like really, really musical, sustained harmonic feedback, which I think is great.
And again, that's what I was talking about with the expression pedal is so useful to me, because at different volumes, different settings on your amp, your sweet spot for those notes changes.
Yep, absolutely.
And this just gives you that wherever you want it.
Yep.
It's almost like having a little sustainer,
Yeah.
You can kind of find it where you want it, and you go. I'll always know where they are on my guitar, and I have to go to certain places, and it always doesn't work out for the song. But here it's fun. You can get that kind of anywhere.
Very cool.
I love that.
Very cool. So when we announced the release of the Triskelion Mark II, we got a lot of email inquiries asking us if we had changed the circuit at all, and actually we took a lot of pains to make sure that it was as close to the Mark I version as possible. Obviously, we added some new features and moved some controls around, but the tonality of the two pedals, we really made extreme efforts to match them. So we decided to show you that. Here's a Mark I, here's the Mark II. I've got a trusty Boss AB selector. Walt's going to play. I'm going to switch them back and forth. We're going to start with the Mark I. There you go. It nails it. And, the only difference is that some of the control settings, that we have different value pots in the Mark II. So to get the same sounds, you might have to adjust the controls slightly different. They're not going to be in the exact same positions. Okay? So there you have it. The Triskelion Mark II coming at you. I'm Kevin from Godlyke. This is Walter Stacey. Tune in soon. We're going to be doing more of these. And check out the Triskelion Mark II on Godlyke.com.
Right on.
I think some Sabbath is in order. with the gain, it sounds almost exactly like it. It's crazy. Awesome.